Hi everyone, my name is Cristina Amaral and I'm from the Sunny Trails Service Unit in the San Diego Girl Scout Council, and I traveled with destinations to India in 2015. And I'm really excited to be here to share a little bit for a couple minutes about my experience traveling with the Girl Scouts and what a great opportunity it was for me as a teen. And hopefully this will inspire some people who are thinking about it and considering it. So I'd like to share all the great things that I got to experience because of this trip. I'll show you a couple pictures and just a few because I took a lot on this trip. And the first is me with a couple of other girls. The reason I wanted to show this picture is that while destinations helped me to see a whole new country and a whole new culture that I had never been exposed to before, I also learned a lot about other girls in my own country. These girls were from all parts of the United States. And while there's only these three that I took a picture with because we became pretty close on the trip, I learned a lot from everybody from all the different places that they came, and it made the experience very enriching, both with my travel mates and with the country that we were all going to. This one here was from our service component of our trip. Our trip consisted of a 14-day excursion, including travel time to and from India. And a big portion of those days we stayed at the Sangam World Centre. The World Centers are all over the world, and they are Girl Scout and World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. So here, naturally, we were doing a service project with local girls in Pune, India, where free dental clinic was provided. We had workshops related to hygiene and nutrition, confidence, and it was a really fun day, and I got to meet some other girls about my age from a completely different country, and we got to spend the whole day together. On that same picture, you can see some of the food I got to try. I had never tried really Indian food. Things like, we sat on the floor to eat. We ate mostly with our hands. Those were all really cool experiences that I never had before this trip. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I tried spices that I never even heard of before, and it was a really eye-opening experience for me. I got to ride the rickshaws that they have in India. It was an exhilarating ride. We had a full immersion into the culture, and we got to really taste a bit of what it was like there. We went to local markets like this, things that I had never seen here at home before. And we also got to visit a lot of cool historical temples, monuments, palaces. And so overall, it was really fun exploring. I learned how to tie a sari, and this was the first official sari that I bought, and it was really beautiful, and everyone there was really welcoming to us and willing to help us learn and experience what it was like to be in India for the first time. Of course, we visited one of the seven wonders of the world, the Taj Mahal. Another picture of me right in front of it. And this was a picture of our whole group. As you can see, it was a large group of us girls with a lot of facilitators as well, all of them who made sure that our trip was safe, that it was exciting, that if either any of us got sick or had like the tummy grumbles from the food, we had someone to lean on. But it was also a really great experience for me to kind of spread my wings and travel without my parents. I was 15 at the time that I went on this trip, and it was a really eye-opening experience because I had never been to a country so different from where I came from. And aside from that, the real benefit of going on this trip was not just experiencing the trip, but it was also how it enriched my life when I came back as well. As I imagine is the case for a lot of families, sometimes the price of these trips is a little bit steep for a lot of us to afford if we have families at home. So what I did is I consulted a lot and got a lot of mentorship, and I had the idea that maybe I could encourage more girls to go on destinations. And what I did when I came back is all the new spices that I never heard of that I loved, the tea that I hadn't tried before but I thought was really tasty, the clothes like the saris that I didn't know how to tie before I went, and I learned to tie there. And the music and the dancing, we learned a Bollywood dance on our trip. And I decided to bring all of those components and form a destinations workshop. And this consisted of me visiting several troops and kind of charging the troop a certain amount of money. It was $10 per girl for a 2-hour long workshop. And this workshop was loads of fun. We learned about Indian culture, a little bit about the history. We learned about the flag. We learned how to tie sari. We learned about chai, tea. We learned about different spices that I was experiencing over there and that I brought to some girls and their troops here locally in San Diego. And with that, word got around. Oh, and at the end, we learned a really fun Bollywood dance that we got to show to our parents at the end of the meeting. It was a really fun workshop. It helped me to gain teaching skills because I was putting together basically a lesson plan for young girls. It allowed me to afford my trip and be able to distribute the cost between having a loan from Girl Scout Council, from paying my own money out of pocket, and then help getting a little bit of assistance from my family as well. But it really made so that the burden of the price was really much more evened out. And in addition to that, it helped me to learn how to coordinate a project. And I think that reaching out to troop leaders, organizing my own schedule to make sure that I was available and I was able to do these workshops, and budgeting my time, budgeting my resources, making sure that I had enough materials to take to the workshops. Those were all skills that eventually helped me to be successful with my Gold Award project. And a few years later, I successfully completed my Gold Award project, where I created a series of workshops and lesson plans relating to teenage mental health in the media age. And that was really fun, but I had already had the experience of managing workshops and lesson plans that I was able to directly apply to my Gold Award. In addition to that, this trip really helped open my eyes to the world of healthcare. We were talking about hygiene and dental clinics. We were helping with the dental clinics and the dentists who were coming for free, and nutrition. So it kind of allowed me to explore my career options as well. I decided to go to nursing school in college, and with all of the experience that I had in Girl Scouts in leadership and project management, I later on in college became one of the co-leaders of a student organization that raised $17,000 to take a fully functional clinic with 35 nursing students, 6 physicians, and 7 physical therapy students, all the way to Thailand. And we went to the rural villages and we provided our clinic with a full functioning pharmacy. Those were all really cool experiences that I think came from the organization and the leadership that I was able to exhibit with my Destinations project. So thank you for listening about my experience. You have a lot of wonderful resources, myself included, if you're thinking about going on a trip. If you have any questions, there's lots of people in San Diego Girl Scout Council and in your service unit who want to make it work and who want to make you successful in your experience traveling abroad with Girl Scouts. The other tip that I have is if you travel to a country that you're not familiar with and that you know you're going to be trying new foods, someone told me that I should bring a little bit of a snack that I like from home. And I brought Reese's peanut butter cups. And even though they were half melted because of all the traveling on the plane, they were really helpful when I felt a little bit homesick and wanted a little bite of back home. So that's my little tip. Whether or not you travel with Destinations, that's a little tip you can have. Thank you again for listening to me. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or need any guidance, and I'd be happy to speak with you. Thanks.